Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
So in our last episode, we read the fourth novella of the Assassin's Blade, The Assassin and the Underworld. And we had a little bit of a gross encounter in the sewers. And right away, I'll throw in the spoiler warning. If you haven't already, make sure you read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and all of Assassin's Blade, because we'll talk about anything and everything. So make sure you're caught up so you don't get anything spoiled for you. But yeah, a little bit of a uncomfy situation.
Yeah, just going for a dip.
Yeah, not going to get too far into that. You can listen to our last episode if you want to hear more. This episode, we're talking about the last novella of the Assassin's Blade, The Assassin and the Empire. And oh boy, what a novella.
I don't think I'm ready to talk about this one yet.
Oh, my heart.
Yep.
So hopping right in, we get a little prologue for this one, and it's titled After. And right off the bat, we're dropped right into Selena's head, and she's not in a good place. She's physically present in the prison wagon, creaks, clinks of her shackles, the guards chatter, it's all there. But mentally, she's completely withdrawn. She's built a wall around herself, a kind of numb silence that muffles everything, even basic physical discomfort. She's thirsty, hungry, cold, but it's all distant. Like she's watching it happen to someone else. So we're realizing at this part that she's most likely on her way to Endovier.
Yeah. And I reread that part because I was trying to see if it was if it said anything specific. So I think the only reason we know it's Endovier is because we've read Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
We know, ahead of time. So reading this as a first, the first before Throne of Glass, you're like,
what the fuck?
Holy shit, what happened? Where is she going?
So the core of her internal struggles is that gnawing question. Had she brought this upon herself? She's trying to shut out that thought to stay in the silence. That brief moment of darkness in the wagon allows that question to surface, and it's hitting her hard. It's a moment of vulnerability, a crack in her emotional armor that we all know she wears religiously. This is the closest we get to the version of Selena we meet in Throne of Glass, but it's hitting harder now because we've seen the version of Selena from before. I like knowing what I know going into this book.
I think so too. I know there's a lot of discussion about and arguments. Oh my God, people will argue with you on the internet.
Oh, 100%.
I made one comment saying that I would have DNF'd if I started with this book with how slow and how much I didn't like the first couple novellas and her Selena's character. If I didn't know what she was like after the events of this novel, I would have been like, no, I do not like the female main character. I just don't want to continue with the series.
100%.
But because I know, and because we've read it in this order, I felt so much better reading this novel.
Yeah. So bring us into chapter 1.
Chapter 1, we're back 11 days before the wagon. It didn't really click to me that it was only 11 days.
Yeah. Very eventful week and a half.
Yes, very. And I felt like as soon as chapter 1 started, right to the end of it, it was just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
There was no slow part. There was nothing. She's starts out chapter 1, said 11 days before the wagon, and she's hanging out in the theater rafters. She's watching the symphony that she used to attend with Arabin every year. This was a very special, she loves the symphony. But this year, she spots Arabin's box, and he has Lysandra at his side. Yeah. And she's kind of like, she can't seem to pay much attention to the symphony. Her attention is hooked on Arabin and Lysandra, and like, she's feeling jealous.
Seething jealousy, like just oozing jealous.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how dare he bring her to this that used to be so special for her, and now she's realizing it wasn't for him. Like, he doesn't care. So, like, there's that conflict where she bought her freedom, but he still obviously has a hold on her. She's back at her apartment, and it's cold and empty, and she finds a note from Sam. He's nowhere to be found, but he tells her to not wait up. I did not like this because I'm going into this novel, this novella, knowing what happens to Sam. So again, every little thing about Sam has me on edge because I'm like, he's dead.
Well, even from the very first novella, like the amount of times he goes off on his own, or something happened, or he was stabbed, or he was shot in the heart, and it's just like, so when is this guy gonna die?
Yeah. I don't want it to happen, but I need to be prepared.
Yeah.
But Selena knows where to look for him, and she finds him at the vaults. And this is like a battle pit. Like, this is where, everybody goes and fights for money. And she's upset, and rightfully so, because they had an agreement that Sam wasn't going to be doing that. And she does, like, there's a lot of description about the vaults, and like she talks about how, you could die there, but Sam he's okay. He's victorious in his fight, but they still have words, and he does tell her that the only reason why he's fighting is because they need money, and they're unable to pick up contracts as easily now because they don't have Arabin's help. They don't have his influence. And they discuss about moving away, but Selena is adamant that they need to make peace with Arabin first so he doesn't kill them. And I'm just like, no, you don't. Girl, run. Go. But yeah, Sam, like the reassuring presence that he always is, pulls her close and kisses her, and she chides him for using her expensive lavender soap. She can't help but wonder if Arabin will ever truly let them go, or if their past will forever haunt their future. I feel like we're going to be talking about it all anyways, but I feel like there's a lot of foreshadowing. A lot. And there's a lot of like, you can, I don't know, like, what's going to happen. But
even if you didn't know Sam was going to die, there's not going to be a happy ending with this.
Yeah.
Like, you can sense it. Like, the Sam and Selena is not, like, they're not getting out of there in one piece.
Yeah. Just based on how many times they've talked about, or at least how Selena felt that, they can't get away. Like, Arabin, like, they need to make peace with Arabin. They need to make sure that they leave on good terms. Stuff like that. Like you already get the idea that, no, like, there's not going to be leaving on good terms. They're his, like, best assassins.
They're his bread and butter. Like, they're his everything.
Pack up and go. Just leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you can get far enough away. It's not like he can put a GPS on you.
And, like, the last line Arabin says in this novella. Yeah. Like,
I have never felt so much rage.
I normally like that phrase, that, like, as a trope in, like, romances, but coming from him, I was just like, We'll get to that a little later. We're jumping ahead a little bit there.
Just a little bit, but yeah, I'm like already seething.
Yeah. So on to chapter 2. Selena and Sam go to Arabin's office to tell them they want to leave and start their own assassin business. She offers a sum of money for their freedom to leave Rifthold, but Arobyn's counteroffer reveals he's been monitoring Celaena's finances, creating tension between her and Sam.
Yeah, Sam was not pleased with Celaena at that point when she offered all that money.
Nope. I mean, I get both sides of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know this isn't going to go well. He's not going to let you leave no matter how much money you throw at him. Just take your money and go.
Yeah.
Get on the boat, get out of here, never look back. But yeah. So yeah, the tension between them, their disagreement leads to Sam saying he needs some space, leaving Celaena to walk home alone. During the walk home, Celaena reflects on the oppressive Ardelanian Empire and its symbol, the Glass Castle, and the evil king's actions on the other countries of Aurelia. Later, Sam tells Celaena about a risky contract he found to assassinate, and forgive me for the pronunciation, Jane, and I'm just going to go by Jane, because I'm not going to try and pronounce that first name again. But he is Rifthold's criminal leader, and his sadistic second-in-command, Rook. Oh, here we go again with this name from Throne of Glass, or Crown of Midnight. Rook Farron. And you'll be Farron. We have Jane and Farron. That's all we're going by.
Yes, fair.
So Celaena is hesitant, but promises to consider the offer, and they reconcile. Although their relationship is getting more and more serious, Celaena's not yet ready for physical intimacy. And Sam patiently agrees to wait. In a very sweet way. I have my list of quotes, and I'm kind of like filling in where they go, because for whatever reason on my phone it's not showing the chapter. Anyways, the quote is, "I can wait," he said thickly, kissing her collarbone. "We have all the time in the world." Maybe he was right, and spending all the time in the world with Sam, that was a treasure worth paying anything for.
When I got to that part, I had to message you it. All the time in the world. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Sam is the sweetest.
So, this is where I was like, okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of crossover where it's kind of spoilery about how this part ends if you read Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight first. Because we know what happens to Farron because of Crown of Midnight.
Right, and that's what I couldn't remember. I know at some point in one of the episodes we were talking about, maybe it was last episode, and I couldn't really remember exactly what happened there.
Yeah, in Crown of Midnight, Wesley kills Farron for Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm reading these books, I don't absorb much. Especially when it's like in a different book.
Yeah.
So I might need you to like literally stick my face in some of this stuff.
And it was funny because I was reading it and I'm like, Farron, okay, that's ringing a bell that I know we read it in the other books. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. And especially when they said Jane's name as well, I'm like, why does this sound so familiar? And then I'm thinking of the story and I'm like, okay, so these guys are the reasoning behind what happens later in this novella. So, and that clued me in. I was like, right, because Wesley kills Farron for killing Sam.
Yeah, it feels a little more sweet now.
Yeah. Yeah, like, they're so back in, like, there's parts that I would have liked to read before I read the follow-up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, if if the Assassin's Blade was written better, or just like the pacing was better, I might have enjoyed reading it first. But as it's written right now, definitely not.
No.
But yeah.
No.
Go ahead with chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Celaena wakes up next to Sam, who is shirtless, and she's struck by the realization that she would give up her life as Ardalin's assassin to be with him.
That's some big words.
She tells Sam that she will help him take down Jane and Farron, and they decide to target Farron first. They think that he's the best one to take out first. So they go to the bank and they transfer the funds over to Arabin, and then they begin their surveillance of Jane and Farron. They're observing the house, their routines, and they spot Farron while they're out. And Selena, she starts like picking at like a little piece of her, like trying to keep an eye on him, but trying not to make it obvious. But like, yeah, he's making her skin like crawl.
Yeah.
And Sam insists that he would be the one to kill Farron, while Selena could handle Jane. He wants to protect her from Farron's cruelty. Selena argues at first, but she couldn't help but notice a flicker of the jealous bitterness that she used to see in Sam before their relationship. It was a side of him that she hadn't seen in a very long time, since Skulls Bay?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And it just like made her uneasy. So she's just like, okay, we'll give him this. And later, Selena goes to her dance class, which we find out that she does like weekly. And her mind is wandering to all the things she would miss in Rifthold when she moved. Her cozy apartment, her favorite shops, the enchanting symphonies at the theater. She's lost in thought, and she arrives home, but she finds somebody waiting for her. Arabin. Oh boy. She even like mentions in, I don't know if it was this chapter or the previous chapter, about like not wanting Arabin to know where she's living.
Yeah.
But he's clearly keeping an eye on his assassins.
Rereading this, I know like we know a little more about Selena's backstory from Crown of Midnight, like the who she is aspect. But this book really pushes the fact she does not want to leave Terrason. And looking deeply at it, her and Sam aren't really a good match. And I felt myself disconnected from Sam reading it because I could feel how much she's against leaving.
Yeah.
They just seem too different.
Yeah, she really pushes in this that she doesn't want to leave. Yeah. He's like, we can just frig off and like go, way across the water somewhere. But she really doesn't want to. And I think it's not only that she doesn't want to leave Terrason, but it's like she doesn't want to leave Arabin either.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
she
that.
Still has that, like, I don't know. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm.
Yeah, and so I brought up this quote last time, and I couldn't remember the exact wording for it about Arabin. But it is mentioned in this one, where it's, was it the king of the assassins who spoke, or the father, or the lover who had never manifested himself?
Mm-hmm. Fucking Arabin.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the third one was, but it was the king of the assassins, which makes sense. But that was not coming to me last time.
Yeah.
So, chapter 4. Selena is shaken up that Arabin's in her apartment and concerned with what he could have found if he snooped through her things. He wastes no time asking why she's planning on killing Jane and Farron, emphasizing the immense danger they pose, as even he wouldn't dare accept a contract on their lives. So, like, even more, like, shit's gonna hit the fan. There's no way you can read this book first and think there's gonna be a happy ever after.
Yeah. I went into this with the theory that, or like the assumption, like that it's Arabin that sets everything up, that he's the shithead, But this part really made me question it. How he was speaking to her and like how worried he seemed. Like, I really started to think, like, oh my God. Like, is he serious right now?
So, Selena, seeing through his facade, challenges him, suggesting that perhaps he was simply afraid of her surpassing his own notoriety. He then confesses his love for her, begging her to stay. Selena's taken aback. She's unsure whether his declaration stemmed from a paternal or romantic feelings. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, she stands firm, declaring her intention to leave with Sam, who loved her selflessly. With that, she demands he leaves her apartment. Before Arabin leaves, though, he asks a final question. Had she revealed her true identity to Sam? Now, this brings up something interesting, because for whatever reason in my brain when I was remembering this book, I thought they did reveal that she was Aelin in this book. They hint heavily towards her being someone else other than Selena, but they never actually say it. And I thought for sure that that was revealed in this book.
It may be if you, like, dig far enough into it, maybe?
Because that was part of my reasoning for not wanting to read it first, because you don't get that big reveal.
Yeah.
But also, like, they really push towards her being someone that she's not, so if you read it first, you would probably figure it out a lot sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still stand by my decision to read this third. That doesn't change anything.
I would have DNF'd it. I would have been like, fuck this podcast.
So yeah, he asks her if she told Sam about her true identity. And later that evening, Sam and Selena go into the Black Signet pub for a relaxing dinner. She asks him what his deepest secret is, and his response, his only secret was that he loves her. She confesses that her secret is that she's a coward. And Sam, again being a comfort, shares his mantra for overcoming fear.
Oh, I know.
My name is Sam Cortland, and I will not be afraid. Selena likes it, and Sam says he likes her and kisses her. And my heart breaks.
Yeah. 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 So, I loved the way that we did this because she says that so much in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight.
Yes. We know why.
Yeah. Yes. So I think that part had a bigger impact.
Yeah. Like that hit.
Reading it this
and
way.
I forgot that he's the one that said that first. So like when I read through it again and I seen that, like my heart just like crumbled in my chest. Like I was just like, oh my god, it was Sam.
It was Sam.
Why don't I remember anything?
Yeah. I thought she was going to tell him. I really did. But yeah, chapter 5. Selena and Sam spend the day following Farron and observing his movements. They see Farron at the vaults where he appeared to be having a meeting. Selena and Sam followed him inside. The vaults are crowded with enslaved people cleaning the blood and gore from the previous night's pit fights. There's trafficked sex workers resting and patrons eating lunch. Farron meets with a man who owes more money than he could repay, and he drags him into a side room. And Selena hears the man's screams of pain as Farron tortures him. We get a good insight into his ruthlessness.
Yeah.
At that point. Selena and Sam leave, horrified by what they had just witnessed, and Sam wonders if he and Selena were like Farron, but she assures him they are not because they don't enjoy hurting others who do not deserve it. Back at home, Selena sharpens her daggers while Sam reviews the plan to kill Farron. He will go alone. Oh god, again. Don't they, like, D&D, rule number 1, don't split the party. That should be just, in general, forever, for everybody. Don't split the party.
What, Stacey, what do me and you always do in D&D?
Yeah, but that's if there's places for us to rob, okay?
Places to rob? We made a whole world blow up.
Okay,
that's fine, why we named ourselves the Queen. What was it? The Bringers of Chaos. Because we go off on our own and just fuck everything.
Okay, fine. We don't listen to that rule either. I don't agree with Sam splitting the party.
Yeah.
So Sam is going to go alone, and Selena's going to stay home and pack. Sam had booked them passage to the southern continent on his ship leaving in 5 days. Okay, so Selena was initially angry, which we talked about a little bit back a couple chapters ago, about how she does not want to leave this continent, that she wanted to stay in Aurelia. And then Sam asks her if she wants to stay because of Arabin, because he had seen Arabin in the street, and Arabin had told him that he had come to the apartment. Fucking Arabin.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot. And he does hint to Sam about Selena's her identity. But Sam, bless his friggin' heart, tells Selena that he doesn't care about her past and would be ready to hear the truth whenever she was ready. Ugh. Then Selena agrees to leave, and Sam tells her he loves her. And this is where things start going south. And I'm done. I don't want to do the rest of this podcast.
And next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to Heir of Fire. Thank you for listening.
This is where Assassin's Blade ends. They just hang out at their apartment for 5 days until the ship leaves.
Yeah.
And then they just both go.
Somewhere along the way, Selena ends up in Endovier, and we find out about Sam just dies sometime in the past. Not a big deal. It's all good.
Yeah, we don't have to read it.
Nope. So chapter 6. So while waiting for Sam, Selena tries to take her mind off things by reading, playing cards, and contemplating what to pack. Although she doesn't actually start packing. Same. Every time I've ever moved or planned a trip, I'm like, I need to pack early. I should really pack and have it done. Nope, the night before I'm packing. Or the day of. So at 11 p.m., an hour earlier than planned, she goes out to look for Sam, hoping to overhear any gossip about Farron's death. She checks on Jane's house, but everything seems normal, so she just returns home.
Chapter 7. It's now 1 a.m. And Sam has yet to return. Can we just cruise through these chapters? So Selena dozes off on the couch, but she wakes up at 4 a.m. to find out that he is still not home. She wonders if he may have stayed the night at the keep, as a sense of security after killing Farron. So she drifts back to sleep, and she wakes up in the morning and heads to the river searching for any sign of Farron's death. When she returns at noon, she finds Arabin waiting in her apartment, and he tells her he's sorry.
You would set this up, so I have to talk about Sam's death.
Yes. I messaged Sarah J. Maas and said, you have to make sure that it's chapter 8.
Oh, God. Okay. So, Arabin reveals that Farron, believing Sam still resided at the keep, left his body there as a message. In a surge of rage, Selena hurls a clock across the room, watching it shatter. She demands to see Sam's body, but Arabin tries to dissuade her. Ignoring his protest, she heads into the keep with him following behind. I don't want to read it, because if I read it, it's real. Upon arrival, he leads her to the morgue, where Sam's lifeless body lies. The sight of his brutalized form, from his fingers broken to his chest carved into, and his eyes gouged out, makes Selena vomit. Overwhelmed, she collapses onto him, inhaling a strange scent mixed with the cheap soap she had insisted he use instead of her expensive lavender. Racked with grief, she sobs uncontrollably, refusing to leave his side. And this scene is that very famous fan art that I sent you of Selena laying across him. and seeing, like, his chest carved into little blocks and, like, all the torture that he went through before he died. Especially finding out that, like, he was awake but couldn't do anything while all this was happening. Like, I know we haven't got to that yet, but...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I feel like her writing for this chapter, it didn't feel as impactful as I thought it was going to.
No.
Like, I feel like her writing, like, I think back to Nehemiah's death. The way that she wrote out that scene, like, even right from, like, Selena, like, booking it back to the castle, like, everything just felt so, like, bam, bam, bam. Like, everything was just... Like, I don't know if that was more impactful or if this one was more impactful.
Oh, girl, if you want impactful from this series, you just wait. Because there's one in particular that I can think of that, like, I was screeching. I threw my book. Like, I was just so upset. It was
I'm done.
soul-crushing.
I DNF'd the series.
And there's always TikTok sounds for this death. And so the TikTok sound includes the audio for while this is happening. And every time I listen to this fucking audio, I cry.
Oh, God. Oh.
Her deaths become way more impactful, I can guarantee you.
Yeah. I, like, obviously the connection, because I really love Sam's character. So, like, I did have that, you know, that grief that came from, you know, his death. But I didn't get that big, like, sobbing feeling, you know?
Yeah.
As I've gotten with other character deaths.
And also, I want to take a little bit of offense to some people for Sarah J. Maas, because they always say her dead characters never stay dead. I'm sorry, have you read Throne of Glass? Her fucking dead characters stay dead, or they talk to you from the death. They don't come back to life. Yeah. Not like Akatar, where blank dies, but then is pulled back out, and this one, like... And Crescent City is the same.
Yeah.
But, like, the deaths are deaths in Throne of Glass.
Yeah. There's no coming back from that. Yeah. I did cry reading this novel, but it wasn't this part.
What part?
We'll get to it.
We haven't got to it yet. What part?
No.
Was it the stag?
No. The fact that he used the cheap soap instead of her lavender soap.
Oh, God.
I hate that.
Yeah.
And
selfish
again,
bitch.
This is another part where I am so pissed off at Selena in this book with how selfish she is, that fucking lavender soap. She couldn't let him use the good smelling soap. Ooh, she... Chapter 9? Yeah. Selena awakes in her old bed and she's paralyzed by grief. The weight of Sam's loss crushes her. She will never see him again, never hear his laugh or witness his smile. And outside her door, Arabin and the other assassins discuss their plans for revenge. When Arabin enters, he gently strokes her hair before locking her in her room. She realizes that someone has changed her into a nightgown, and she's like frantically tearing apart the room looking for her suit, but she only finds a simple tunic, pants, and boots. She's determined to escape. She climbs out the window, but is intercepted by Wesley, one of the assassins, who attempts to warn her about something. And I wish she wasn't so freaking hasty and just listened to him. But she fucking, like, knocks him out. And she's just, like, set on vengeance. She's planning on killing Jane first and then Farron. And she's moving swiftly across the rooftops, and she leaps onto the roof of Jane's house, and she's ready to strike.
That was talked about in Crown of Midnight as well, like when the whole Wesley killing Farron got brought up. It also got revealed that Wesley tried to warn her.
Mm-hmm.
And they went into more detail of what he was trying to warn her of. But, stupid girl.
Yeah, she's like one-track mind, and that's it.
Yeah. Anyways. It's chapter 10. So Selena leaps through the window of Jane's house, landing in a room designed to appear empty due to blackout curtains. Yet inside, a group of men are gathered in a meeting. Without hesitation, she takes down the 2 guards before driving her blade into Jane's neck. As more guards rush her, she kills 2 more, but then a familiar, sickly scent, the same one that clung to Sam's body, fills her senses. Before she can react, darkness overtakes her. When she regains consciousness, she is paralyzed. The Glorilla incense Farron used to sedate her, the same poison Ansel once used on the Mute Master, has taken effect. Smirking, Farron informs her that she walked straight into his trap. His plan was simple: manipulate her into assassinating Jane, pin the crime on her, and then hand her over to the King of Ardalan in exchange for assuming Jane's position as the ruler of the city's criminal underworld. What a devious scumbag.
Yep.
As Selena processes his betrayal, she wonders who could have set her up. Arobin despises both Jane and Farron, making it difficult to believe that he would ever conspire with them. Before she can dwell on it, Farron strikes her across the face, but refrains from further torment, having promised to leave her mostly unharmed. Still, he admits he wishes he had the chance to break her.
Yeah.
A guard steps forward, and before she can resist, a final blow renders her unconscious once more.
Mm-hmm. When she wakes up, she's in a dungeon and her head is pounding. To her surprise, Arobin has not come for her yet. Royal guards arrive to deliver food, and though she eats, exhaustion and heartbreak consume her. She drifts in and out of consciousness, haunted by the weight of her failure. She couldn't avenge Sam.
I know a part you cried at. when she says his mantra.
Yes.
Yeah. It just hit me.
Yeah. As she listens, the guards murmur among themselves, doubting whether she is truly Selena Sardothian, given how young she appears. They also mention that both the captain of the guard and the prince have been absent from her trial. Convenient. If there was a trial at all. Yeah. And will likely miss her execution as well.
So chapter 12, the guards shackle Selena in restraints that allow her to walk and escort her to her trial before the king. She remains silent as a long list of her kills is read aloud, each one made and famous by Arobin, who had always spread whispers to enhance her deadly reputation. The king steps forward, forcing her to meet his gaze as he determines her fate. When he asks if she has any final requests, she simply asks for a quick death. Smirking at her defiance, he denies her mercy, sentencing her to a lifetime of suffering, 9 lives worth of labor in the salt mines of Endovier. The world tilts around her as she is dragged into a waiting wagon, her future sealed in chains. High above... Oh, God, this part.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was fuming.
Yeah. High above the city, Arobin and Farron watch from a rooftop as the wagon disappears into the distance. Farron, puzzled, questions why Arobin isn't making a move to save her, knowing he had planned a daring rescue on the day of her execution. With chilling indifference, Arobin reveals the truth. He was the one who betrayed Selena, striking a deal with Farron to cement his power as the new king of the underworld. When Farron presses him further, asking why he would let Selena be sent to Endovier, Arobin simply replies, he doesn't like sharing his possessions.
I'd like to do that to his face.
Yeah. That line, like, that line sent me into a rage.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Like, I literally had to listen to that part again to just, because I was listening to it, I was just like, there's no way. Like, what the hell is she trying to tell me right now?
Yeah.
And then we get our first epilogue, titled After. The journey to Endovier lasts 2 weeks, but Selena hardly stirs in the wagon. She's just absolutely crushed with the grief of Sam's death. One day, the wagon lurches to a stop, and peering outside, she spots a majestic white stag, the sacred embodiment of the Lord of the North, the very constellation she once told Ansel about in the desert, said to guide the people of Terrasen home. The guards raise their bows, aiming to shoot. Panic surges through her, and she screams, warning the stag to flee. As it vanishes into the wilderness, a deep, gnawing fear grips her. She is not going home. She's being sent to slavery, and she has no idea if she'll ever be free again.
And then we get a second epilogue, and it's titled Beginning. And thank you again, Sarah, for having this in an order where I have to read this part as well. The harsh landscape signals Selena's arrival at Endovier, triggering a wave of grief. But a sudden breeze carries the scent of her beloved Terrasen, and with it, a surge of strength. She understands that she must face this challenge head-on or be crushed by it. She will not be broken. Drawing on the resilience forged through past tragedies, she starts using Sam's mantra. I am Selena Sardathian, and I will not be afraid. She survived losing Sam, survived the King of Ardalan. She will survive this too. With that, she rises and walks into Endovier.
I like how that epilogue, she tries to say that mantra like a few times. Like, she'll start and say, my name is Selena Sardathian. She whispered into the floor, but her lips shook hard enough to cut off the words.
Yeah.
And then later, like a couple paragraphs down, she says, my name is Selena Sardathian. She tried again. She gasped down uneven breaths. And like, she had to say that like a few times before she could like gather herself to finish it. And I was just like, you go, girl. It was so hard. But that was when I cried at that part.
Yeah.
That part just gutted me. Hearing her try to say it. Ugh.
So what was your rating for this novella?
5, I think.
I was going back and forth between 4 and 5, but I honestly can't think of a reason to take off the 4. Other than
just the sole fact of yeah. But yeah, I couldn't rate this one any lower than a 5. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
It had me literally on the edge of my seat. Yeah. The whole novella.
And that's saying a lot because you knew what was going to happen and you were still on edge the entire time.
Yeah, 5 stars, but I think I rated the whole book itself 4 stars. And I think that might be a little too generous.
I think what did I rate the book as a whole the first time? I rated it as 4, but that is going to be a 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's mainly because of number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say the first 2 books didn't really do it for me.
No, like Skulls Bay was interesting enough. I was more interested in the hot pirate than the story itself.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, definitely not the best book yet of the series. Obviously, everybody knows that. This isn't going to be the best book.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I am currently cradling Kingdom of Ash in my hands and rubbing the cover. Because it's just so special. And Empire Storms, like honestly, both of them are incredible.
So what is so we've got Air Fire, Queen of
Queen of
something?
Shadows, and then the tandem of Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storm.
Okay.
And then Kingdom of Ash.
They're so big.
Yeah, she's beefy.
They are chunky.
She's beefy. It's the biggest one, and... Oh, she's beefier than I thought. 984 pages.
Wow.
I like them big. I like them chunky.
Chunky. Oh. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get into Airfire.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Well, we got about a week and a half left until we get into Airfire, because our next episode is going to be our final overall review of The Assassin's Blade.
As a whole.
Yeah, doing a little character talk and all the fun stuff. What we liked, what we didn't like. We're just going to ignore book 2. It didn't happen. Don't need to talk about it. It's fine.
No.
We just got to remember the name Irene Towers as a healer for the future.
Yeah, I had already forgot her name. So.
I'm not going to lie, if I hadn't read the rest of the series, probably same. But, so yeah, until next week.
Oh, stress. That's all I ever feel with the series is just stress. And with that, our Coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.